iGeometry. Ooh, 1. Dead areas does have 1 feature. 9. That's because you don't believe me, right? 9? What's up, y'all? This is Hussein Nasser from iGeometry, and today we will learn how to create a context menu and inject it in one of the system out-of-the-box system context menus that ArcMap has. So let me show you what we're talking about here. So we learned how to build a button. We learned how to build tools. We built all of this stuff, right? So time to learn how to create a menu. Wrong connection. Supposed to click on the geometry, not this one. Okay. Back. This is an example where you right click, and these are called context menus, right? So they called context because they work on within context, right? So if you right click on a feature class, you get these. If you right click on a database, you get these. You get different context menus based on the context on what you're clicking. All right, so what we want to do today is we will create our own context menu, and we're gonna add it here to, let's say, count the features in this feature class that I'm right clicking on. Okay, so when I right click, I'm gonna add a button here called get feature count or something, and then when we click on that, we'll get the feature class, which is the context in this case, and then from the feature class we will query get the feature count displayed in a message box. Obviously, you can do so much stuff. This is just an example. So let's get to work. All right. In order to add our own command, we have to identify what is the system context menu that we are wanting to inject the command, our command to. And there is a nice list here with all the context menus, all the commands of ArcMap and ArcCatalog. Since this is an ArcCatalog window, we will work with the ArcCatalog commands. And that specific one, that's the GUID or the UID for that. So we're going to use that, capture that command, and then insert our own command, which will appear somewhere at the end. Okay, let's get started. So we're gonna create a new project. Instead of add-ins, we're gonna choose extending ArcObjects, and we're gonna choose class library ArcMap. And let's call this my first fancy context menu. Okay. And for the references, I'll need these. I'll need the framework, geodatabase, obviously, because we're going to query the feature class. We will need the framework, obviously, the geodatabase, and the catalog. Did we add the catalog? No, we didn't. We add the catalog, and that's it. We say finish. So for simplicity here, let's go ahead and delete that feature class. We don't need it. For simplicity, we're going to create 2 buttons here, 2 commands. One to set up the menu, and one which basically will be the context menu button. right? Usually you will not do this, but since we don't have a startup event in our example, I will treat that button, I'm gonna call the first button setup menus. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new ArcGIS extending base command. Let's call it let's call it setup context menu. Okay, and we'll choose desktop ArcMap. So what will happen here is that this command, we will write code on this command that will set up the menu. Let's go ahead and just write all this crap. Menu, alright, setup menu, yeah, let's call it all setup menu unique. Once you do that, we will, on click, we will write the code here that set up our menus, basically. Let's go ahead and create a new button that will be our menu in this case. Okay, I'm going to call it get feature count menu context, something like that. Okay, and that's another ArcMap command. Go ahead, that's it. Yeah, let's give it all these names, fancy names. Get feature count menu. Get feature count menu. And yeah, why not? So that's my command, and that's on click. So let's get to work. What we're going to do here is set up context menu. We'll do this. We'll get the document, and from the document, M application. Where's my M application? Must be the M application down here. Dot document. And then once we do the document, we get the command bars. Command bars. This is the list of everything. Everything is a command bar. Don't ask me why, but everything is just command bars. Menus, all right, everything. Once you get the command bars, we will keep a reference for that, and we will create two UIDs, which is universal identifier. Okay, the first one is the context, the feature class context menu, right, which is the system one, which is this. I want to get a hold of this somehow, right? So to get this is we create new UID. Yeah, right. Then once we do that, we will do dot value equal this. That's what you want. You just got that. The second one is my custom, right, which is called get feature count context menu equal in new UID, and then you'll do the same thing, but the value, you might have guessed it, right? The value is that second command that I want to add, which is this. That's the prog ID sometimes we refer to. Are we recording? Yes, we are. Come on. Once we add that, next step is we will need to find that context menu, which is ours, the system one. We'll pass false and false here for default. That will retain an I command bar. which is my feature class context menu. What are you complaining about? Oh, okay, so we do command bar, cast it. We have that. Final step, add to that context menu. Now that we received that context menu reference, what we're gonna do is add, you guessed it, right? The getCount feature class. And just like that, we're done. Oh well, sorta. Obviously, you remember this, guys? Remember these? That's the default icon. Alright, when I build now, we will click on the setup context menu and see what we'll have. Okay, we'll have to close this. We have ArcMap open. Let's rebuild that. Obviously, I'm going to push this. I'm going to put the code in the description below so you can see it. Take a look and we'll Alright, let's pull up that command. What did we call it, man? Setup menu. Let's search for setup menu. And then we're going to pull that. And then when we click on that, something happens. Whoa, get feature count menu. So it looks like we put it worked, but it is actually not the menu that we wanted to add to. We added to the feature dataset context menu. So that's the thing, feature dataset. So let's find out the feature class context menu. Where are you? There you go. That's what we want. We want the feature class context menu. So let's close this. You get the idea though, right? Setup. Change that instead of adding the command to the feature dataset, feature dataset, we want to add it to the feature class because, well, we can do that, but we're working with an example on a feature class. So you can do the setup to set up multiple context menus, obviously, right? To build your own application, one button that set up the whole thing. Or you can do it on a startup as an event. That's another thing. Or as an extension and load everything. But, you know, we're lazy. ArcMap. Is that it? Setup menus. Click on that. Something happened. Oh, get feature count menu. What happens when I click on it? Nothing. Why? Because we didn't write any code in get feature class menu. Alright, so this is interesting. Now we can write message box, some happy word, hello word, whatever you want to call it, right? But now what I want to do is actually doing a message box with the number of features inside that feature class. So first of all, the first question, how the hell I can get that feature class to begin with? Okay, that's how you do it. You define something called IGX application. Since we're working with ArcCatalog, you cast your application to IGX application. Why? Because we're gonna get something very interesting called selected object. That selected object is, well, as the name says, it is the selected object. And this will return for me an IGX object. PGX object equal that. And that GX object, which is an ArcCatalog object, I have no idea why there's called GX, stands for. And map, anything with ArcMap is MX, anything with ArcCatalog's GX. I guess it's the G in ArcCatalog. Yeah, I don't know what they call it, ICX. Nah, alright, whatever. So, another thing here is the GX object is actually what you get is not the actual object, but its name, something called a name. So a name is a lightweight object that corresponds to heavy objects and very memory consuming objects like feature class and feature dataset and iWorkspace. We have iWorkspace, we have iWorkspace name. We have feature class and we have feature class name. A name is just what it is. It is a name. It's an object, lightweight object, and from the name we deal with name all over because you don't want to open the feature class, which is an expensive operation. You just want reference to the open feature class, and when we want to open the feature class, we will actually do this .open, and that will open the object. And since we know for this context that the selected object is always going to be a feature class, you do this. Does that make sense? Hope it does. God damn it, MS. What the hell is MS? Do that, do that. There you go. We have the feature class. What's the final step? We add one more guy here called system.windows, my favorite, .forms. And that's just for one thing only. The lovely message box.show. What the hell? Oh. Gotcha. Feature count. We did this, right? So many times. Put the string. This tells me like a query filter. We don't care. Give me everything. Show me how many objects do you have. And then we compile. And then we ran. Did we crash? No. And then we set up iGeometry. Ooh. 1. Did does have 1 feature. 9. That's because you don't believe me, right? 9? 9? Who can guess this movie? Alright, if you click again, setup menu, obviously, because these computers are dumb, it's gonna do this. Jesus Christ. Why are you even watching this channel? I'm just playing. Alright guys, that's it for me. Obviously you can fix that, right? So, but who will call setup a million times? Well, me. You can do this. Before you add, you search. Search for this. If you didn't find it, is that right? If you didn't find it, yeah, passed. All right. If you didn't find it, add it. Just one line of code. Try to find it. If you don't find it, add it. Yeah, why not? I'm gonna give you this for free. The video is supposed to be done, but yeah. Click. Right click. get feature count. That's it. You can't play anymore. Sorry. All right. So you can see this is just for enterprise feature class. That's just to let you know, right? This is just for enterprise feature class. So file geodatabases, I don't think is gonna work. It's not gonna show up. Yeah, right. Because that's a completely different context menu, and you have to find it. And I might add it in the description, but you can definitely find the file geodatabase feature context menu for file geodatabase. So lots of work, but go make something happen with this knowledge. I'm gonna see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take care. Goodbye.